invaded WWE Raw. I'm Ollie Davis. This is Chopper Pete Quinnell, and welcome to the WrestleTalk live review edition of Raw. I said that right, didn't I?
Yeah.
Please press the thumbs up button. Give us a subscribe. If you're watching on demand, leave us a comment down below with your thoughts of what you thought of the show. Ugh.
It's a bad intro from you today,
My brain
Ollie.
isn't working.
Yeah, that's not
What's
great.
happened
I
to
don't
it?
understand.
And if you're watching live, please get in your super chats, because we've got some wonderful moderators going through them all, and we'll be answering them after this first discussion point and at the end of the show for the rest of them. And also, look at this lovely piece of graphic. Look at the graphic.
Look at the thing. It's got names on it and everything.
Yeah.
It's cool. Also, follow our social media stuff.
Yeah. Subscribe to the podcast. It's got exclusive intro and outros. It doesn't cost you a thing.
Yeah.
Neither does the Twitter, where all the internet articles can now be found for the latest breaking professional wrestling news. Don't worry, it's not clogging up your YouTube community tab anymore. Instagram, Facebook, also the same. We're also on Facebook. We're also on Twitch. Hi, everybody there.
Hi.
Let's talk about Raw, baby, and NXT.
What is happening to you?
I don't know. You know when you feel like you're having an off day? Maybe it's Luke deficiency.
I think it probably is.
He's back. He's back on Monday.
I really started missing him today. I don't
Yeah.
know. I was just doing a few things this morning, and I was like, man, I really miss Luke. Just his occasional insights and, little jokes in the office. I'm like, really missing that today.
Yeah. Making tea, I mostly miss him for. He'd make a lot of tea.
Yeah, he would.
Right, so
Anyway.
Raw opened. Of course, SmackDown staged an NXT invasion on Friday to kick off this new theme for this year's Survivor Series of Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. Because you got to think, SmackDown can't take all those losses again. Mm-hmm. NXT's there to do that now.
Yay.
They're going to win a women's match. They're going to win a tag match. But all the other wins are going to come from the main roster. But that's quite a cynical way of looking at it, because SmackDown was incredibly fun.
Such a fun show. I loved it.
WWE do this all the time when their backs are against the wall, just when you think things couldn't get any worse from a backstage or storyline perspective. Boom. They pull out an absolute corker. Got to think back to the Shield days when they did the whole reunion tour. They didn't know what to do because loads of people got struck down by meningitis, I think it was.
It was mumps, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Is
something
that right?
like that.
Yeah.
So we suddenly got out of nowhere, AJ Styles versus Finn Balor, and Kurt Angle joined the Shield.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was scattergun, but it was
fun.
a hell of a spot fest in terms of excitement. And that's what we got with SmackDown. So that initial sort of excitement, very much a Triple H produced show and written show, I would argue.
Yep.
Of course, Vince McMahon would have signed off on everything. That's how it goes. So we can't take that away from Vince.
Yep.
But this show, while still fun, I enjoyed the main storyline beats on this show. Did feel like a more sanitized version of that SmackDown invasion.
Yeah, I think the SmackDown one was pure excitement from every point. It goes, oh, it's this guy, it's this guy. It feels like a proper takeover, whereas this one felt like, I mean, we can probably throw in a bit of a takeover here. Not like they're taking over Raw. It's like, they're here. They're still here, I guess. We'll keep that thread going. But it wasn't a full-blown takeover like they did on SmackDown. So it felt very much like a second-hand thoughts, if that makes sense, than the main story focus, if that makes sense.
Totally, because SmackDown was very much, here's Adam Cole, here's Tommaso Ciampa, here's Shayna Baszler. This episode of Raw was, here's Seth Rollins, here's Triple H.
Yeah. And also Adam Cole was there.
Yeah. But Adam Cole didn't really feature. Let's get on to that. So Raw opened with Triple H arriving in a convoy of 3 big cars. Do you know much about cars?
In the SUVs, right?
They were big. Yeah, they're big cars.
Big black cars. That's what they are.
SUVs.
Yeah.
Big cars.
Yeah, those ones. I got very excited when I saw this. Literally, it rolls in. Person gets out. I was like, it's going to be Triple H, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be Triple H. And then he got, I was like, oh, NXT's here. I got really excited again. It was very good.
It was an excellent cold open. So before the intro credits and everything, two things I would have changed. I wouldn't have Jerry Lawler screaming on commentary.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, my God, who could this be? Is it the president?
Shut up, Jerry.
Jerry's got such
God.
low expectations.
I know he does, doesn't he?
It's got to be the president.
The president or no one.
It's 3 SUVs in a row.
It's got to be the president,
Oh my
right?
God, the president's here. Also, second one, they should have been tanks.
Feel like you might be setting your expectations a bit too high there.
You know what? This was a rubbish show.
They didn't show up in tanks.
They didn't show up in tanks. But it was very cool. Yeah, this was very good. And then later on, it continued. I know Seth Rollins is rah-rahing around right now. But from an on-screen character perspective, I enjoyed this tremendously. It helps that he doesn't have the belt anymore.
Yeah, I noticed that immediately. As soon as he came out in the night and he didn't have the Universal Championship with him, I was like, you're not so bad.
Yeah, it felt like a bit of a literal weight has been not lifted from him, but lifted from how I perceive him.
Yes.
Now he doesn't have that belt. I'm not thinking you shouldn't have that.
Yeah,
the Fiend
yeah.
should have that. It hasn't fixed all the problems with Seth, but it's a start. So Seth Rollins comes out. This is later on in the show. And he has a bit of an existential crisis about what next for Seth Rollins. And he laid out a very compelling argument for where his character is right now. He has based his whole year around beating Brock Lesnar for the top title and becoming champion.
Yeah.
And now look at him. He's not the top champion. He hasn't got any belts, actually. And Brock Lesnar is somehow, once again, the top champion on the brand he's on.
Yeah. I thought it was marvelous character consistency for once. It was really, really nice to see that they continued the story and they didn't just go, Because they very well could have just completely ignored it and just said, oh, I'm upset I lost the Universal title or whatever. But they chose to take it in a completely different direction. And they played on something. This, again, had Triple H's fingerprints all over it for me, especially because Triple H then came out in the segment. You'd think Triple H might have had some input.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, Triple H is... He's actually I would argue, a very good wrestling storyteller when it comes to character, like putting character first and then building stories around it.
100%.
A lot of his arcs, particularly his, are based around that. You know, he's feud with Batista, he's feud with Undertaker last year. Where it falls down is when he then has a 20-minute plodding match to climax it all.
Yes.
But this was really good, yeah. And a really brave move by WWE that I respect them for a lot was to have Seth say, look, I bet a load of you fans are really, really happy that I haven't got the belt anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't give a damn about that.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. But yeah, you're right. Triple H walks down because Seth's like, I feel like I'm back at square one. Yeah. And I don't know if I can do it again anymore.
Says he doesn't know what's next he doesn't know what's next on his journey.
So out comes Daddy NXT, Trips, and he says, look, the answer to your future might be your past.
And I read another layer into this, which I don't think they intended. Finn Balor's heel turn on NXT, the video package the week prior said, my future is going to be my past. It's pretty much the exact same thing that Triple H just said to Seth.
Yeah.
So that I'm not saying that, like, oh, Finn and Seth are going to join forces or anything like that, but I thought it was an interesting parallel to have Finn say, oh, I need to look at my past to determine my future, and then he turns heel the next week and turns on Johnny Gargano and all that awesome stuff that he did on NXT. And then Triple H comes out to Seth and he goes, you need to look at your past if you want to do your future. I'm like, ooh, that's a nice little parallel.
It is. I mean, let's be honest. It's probably because it's a good line.
Yeah,
so they just used it twice.
Absolutely.
But I could totally see them going that route of, here's Finn Balor. Finn Balor did take Triple H's advice. He did go back to NXT. He's transformed his career. This is what you could have, Seth.
Exactly.
And Finn,
I'd love that.
Maybe we get Balor Rollins.
That would be so cool.
Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I can see them going that way.
That would be amazing.
But they had this really good stuff. Triple H had this wonderful thing about, we did this invasion thing, and Seth's like, oh yeah, you're so cool. You did it when everyone was stuck abroad. Not going to go too much into that. Rah-rah. And Triple H goes, yeah, it was a genius idea.
Yeah.
Because no one was here to stop us.
He's just like, yeah, and?
Yeah. And I'm like, you're both making good points. This is a very well-told story.
Yeah.
But then Triple H says, look, I know how to make you great again. You're either going to come with me or you're against me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the Undisputed Era started coming through the crowd. They get up on the apron. But then the OC also come out and they have a bit of a scuffle. Dijak's in there all of a sudden. And the Raw roster chases off NXT.
Raw roster in big quotation marks.
Well, the OC were laid out. So AJ, undeniably big name.
Mm-hmm.
But the other people who ran down were Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder, R-Truth, and Rowan. Now, I see Rowan as a big guy because they did a great job of building him up on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So it's a real shame to have him lumped in with the Job Squad, essentially. Yeah. The 24/7 title division.
And granted, the numbers game, yes, it's better to have more bodies than the other team, but when the other team is Dominik Dijakovic and Damian Priest and the Undisputed Era, you'd think they could probably handle Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins and R-Truth, but they didn't.
Well, I guess you could argue they chose not to engage. It wasn't like they were chased, they were beaten up. They were like, nah.
Yeah. They got Adam Cole got a super kick on AJ Styles, which was pretty good, and then they just kind of scampered after that.
So Seth sort of looks conflicted in the ring for all of this. He chases down Triple H backstage afterwards and says, essentially, I might come to NXT, but I'm going to do it as the top champion.
Mm-hmm.
So I want a match with Adam Cole tonight. And that was the main event.
NXT Championship.
Yeah, with Triple H and Adam Cole's corner. I was super excited for this, especially based off that fantastic, was it like 20-minute match with Daniel Bryan on SmackDown?
It was amazing.
Back and forth stuff. But this was 80% Seth.
Yeah.
I don't think Adam Cole looked good against Rollins because, again, I'm worried that Raw thinks this is a Rollins Triple H story when it's an NXT story.
Exactly.
Just like the original Invasion, where the McMahons, it became a story about Shane versus Stephanie versus Vince, not ECW versus WCW versus WWF.
Yeah.
And also, the crowd were rubbish.
Yeah, they weren't. And normally, I'm very much in agreement with you when you say it's not the crowd's fault because they're not presented something that's very entertaining. And I'll say, most of the show, I could probably get on board with that. This, though, I think, granted it's not the best match it could have been, but throughout the whole night, the crowd really didn't get into basically anything. And it made most of the segments feel a lot worse than they were. Especially like the brawl that happened after this felt very, very flat because no one really cared.
Totally.
So I don't know whose fault it is, and I kind of want to say both, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I you know what, and this is different to how I usually feel. I would put the blame a bit more on the audience. Look, they don't know who Adam Cole is. I think that, and I can't remember, it was somewhere in New York, but they're a notoriously bad crowd. So
it was Long Island.
Yeah. So they don't, they're next to Corpus Christi in terms of bad crowds for WWE. But when Adam Cole did the boom, and like no one did it.
I know.
And there was an Adam Cole chant, but it was only from like 30 guys who watch NXT at the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a shame. And it wasn't, having Triple H at ringside was a nice layer of drama. But like I said, it became about Seth versus Hunter rather than, look, Adam Cole is your NXT champion. But it was just mainly Seth working him over. Yeah.
And the ending of this main event as well. I mean, it was a decent match, but I think when you compare it to the SmackDown match that you had with Daniel Bryan, it's night and day. Because for the SmackDown match, Adam Cole was working face for starters. Bryan worked heel for most of it. Granted, Bryan got in quite a fair bit of offense. Wasn't as much as Seth did, but Cole looked awesome for coming out of it. Yeah. And not tapping out to like 2 label locks and hitting super kick Panama Sunrise last shot. Very decisive victory at the end. Whereas in this one, Cole looked kind of pants. And he was working heel on this one, and while Seth was working face, which I get, it makes sense because Adam Cole is a heel, but he's the new and exciting person that you want to endear to the fans a bit more. And I know they're trying to make Seth, cool again and all that stuff. But even so, I don't think they should have made him as heel as he was in this one, because he was very, very heel in this one. He was beating him down, do the slow, methodical beatdown that normal heels do. And then Seth was in control for most of it anyways. Cole was mostly in control through an ad break. And then it just ended in a disqualification as Seth was about to win.
Yeah.
So it was just... It didn't make Cole look very good.
No.
And it didn't make Seth look very good. It didn't really make anyone look very good. It was very much... SmackDown was Triple H's vision, and Raw, this is Vince's vision of it. They're two very different things, I'd say.
Yeah, and then he's tuning up the band, isn't he, to do the stomp, and the rest of the Undisputed Era guys appear on the apron, which is a way to protect both guys. You don't have to beat either one of them, but just from a logic standpoint, why would they be interfering in this match? Surely they're working under Triple H's direction.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H wants to see Seth win or Adam Cole win. He just wants a dominant NXT thing.
Yeah.
So but it was just an excuse really to have a rather superficial, generic brawl. Everyone's down there. Ricochet hits a shooting star off the top rope to the outside on a pile of people. Unfortunately, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers, Keith Lee, missed his spot. So he was awkwardly standing in the ring for about 3 minutes before he hit this amazing senton over the top rope onto everyone.
Oh, it was awesome.
But, he was sort of there 3 minutes too early. So he's just standing in the ring looking at everyone amassing there. But when he hit it, it was incredible.
Great. Oh, yeah. Keith Lee's fantastic. But again, I'd say this is partially the crowd's fault and partially the booking and partially Lee missing his spot there. When he did that spot on NXT in that triple threat between him, Dijakovic, and Roderick Strong for the North American title. When he hit that, because of the culmination of the match, it got a holy S-word chant because people just didn't see it coming, and it was straight after Roddy did like a dive-through and Dijak did a dive-through or something like that, and then he just goes over the top and just does this massive... it was perfect. It was so, so cool. And he did the same spot here onto a bunch of people, and the crowd were like, hey.
I think, if anything, Ricochet shouldn't have done his move.
Absolutely.
I think Lee should have just hit his move there. I don't know what was meant to be the plan. Let's see what your super chats say on the NXT invasion. Get your super chats in, and we'll be getting to the rest of them at the end of the show. Will HM. Raw was Control-C, Control-V.
Aha! Yeah, it kind of was.
Yeah.
Diminishing returns as well. Not as good the second time.
Totally. KJ, can't wait for the main roster to beat NXT in all their matches. Seriously, let's not pretend they wouldn't do this.
They absolutely would. Yeah. Totally they would. Yeah, I know. I really don't want them to, but they will.
The Brock. WWE expect me to believe that Hawkins can go toe-to-toe with Riddle. Come on, Pete has a better chance against me in a battle than Hawkins against Riddle. What is this Brock versus Pete thing?
He's
calling you out a lot.
I know. Brock just constantly calls me out, and I don't know why.
That's much like Matt Riddle and Goldberg.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
Robert Banker, I keep saying it, Bullet Club versus Undisputed Era.
Could happen. Could see Finn turn on NXT, except not, and join AJ and the OC to face the Undisputed Era, which would be bad.
I think, but you mean OC versus UE, don't you? I would like to see some version of that.
I mean, they teased that on the show, but...
Jesse Moctezuma, it's the invasion again.
Yeah, and it's still not great.
It's the second installment of the 3-4 week story. I guess more like 3 week now.
Yep.
This was a Seth Triple H bit. Yep. Let's just see it as that. Nate drops surname. I struggle to enjoy the invasion when it undermines characters' storylines. Ciampa helping Undisputed Era, Lee Dijak working together, Rowan running down. It's exciting, but I'm skeptical NXT actually wins anything.
Exactly. I think it's superficially exciting. It's very cool to see all these new people and people that we really like from NXT, but yeah, I'm not optimistic. Especially just with their track record, I'm not optimistic of how they're going to be treating these people, but we'll see.
Power Packers 90. I love this meme at the moment in the comments.
So good. Yeah.
Nobody, ... Vince. Seth versus all heel NXT.
Yeah, they really turned everyone from NXT heel on this show, didn't they?
I mean, I read it differently to everyone else. I saw Seth as kind of the murky, morally complicated person here, not really knowing where he's going to side.
Yeah.
And NXT were just more acting on Triple H's orders. But, yeah. Kevin, Remember when Shane and the SmackDown roster invaded Raw? You mean Siege Warfare?
Wait,
It was last year.
it wasn't Siege Warfare. It was something else. Under Siege. Under Siege is
you
what
sure?
it was. Hashtag Under Siege.
I'm thinking of Fantasy Booking Warfare.
Fantasy
right.
Booking Warfare.
The segment itself was good, but it wasn't until Raw had their own invasion a few weeks later that the story was interesting. It will be hard to follow up in the following days.
I agree.
Yeah. It's a difficult one to book when you don't really want anyone to lose.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be curious to see NXT and if this has any impact moving forward for NXT this week or something like that. If any main roster people show up.
Oh, I thought, and in terms of ratings, because this is a big week for AEW. This is the go home show to Full Gear, and NXT could beat them in the ratings just because this Survivor Series stuff is pretty hot right now. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, it's so hot right now.
So hot.
And finally, for now, that AdNap 2. Anyone else getting Nexus flashbacks?
Dear God, no. I really hope not.
Nowhere near that bad.
No. Nexus was fantastic to start with.
Yes.
Good God, it was awesome. But yeah, let's hope it doesn't go the same road.
Right, so the actual full show started with that Triple H cold open, as we've already said. And then Brock Lesnar comes out.
I didn't mind this too much because we got that cold open and I got very excited for NXT. And then I remembered, as soon as Lesnar's music hits, I remember what happened on SmackDown because that opened with Brock Lesnar. And then he left. And then it was just NXT for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we'll get the Lesnar stuff out of the way, and then we can get on to NXT. This is fine. I thought this was fine. I mean,
okay.
Heyman tried to justify Lesnar leaving SmackDown, which was murky.
Yeah.
His promo was a bit overlong. I think he didn't really say much at all until towards, the very end of it when he actually said, we're going to hunt down Mysterio. We'll be finding Mysterio. We're going to turn this arena inside out until we find Mysterio, which is when it actually got good. I think before that, he was just kind of saying words. But after that, though, I thought it was class.
I agree.
With the Mysterio stuff.
Yeah, because the way they've explained this Brock Lesnar thing just does not hold up at all. No. Brock Lesnar quit SmackDown to come after Ray on Raw, which hasn't been an issue the last couple of weeks because Ray's been on all the SmackDown episodes. It's Survivor Series season anyway, so everyone's showing up everywhere. Don't buy that. It's a very lazy out. And also the idea that you can quit one brand and the other brand has to absorb the contract is a very rubbish precedent to set. And Paul Heyman's argument of why that does make sense is because it's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And that, that is slightly the reason because Brock Lesnar is so important.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's overall not that satisfying.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of them just saying, yeah, just because.
Yes, it's totally it.
There's just not a reason. They've just gone, yeah, just because we can.
Yeah.
Rather than anything actually substantial.
But what I found interesting is Paul Heyman usually does these promos pretty heelish. Mm-hmm. This was full on heel.
Oh, yeah.
He was ragging on the crowd. He called everyone in the back bitches. This was it wasn't professional, Paul. It was, we are annoyed.
Yeah. And
we're going to start running our mouths, which I thought really set up the stuff with Ray that came later very well. So, yeah, Lesnar then goes around backstage just beating up WWE officials.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
He just gets the guy, just goes, where's Rey Mysterio? Like, bangs his head into a table and then throws him aside. Oh, that was quite funny.
And it's the most, passion Brock has shown as a character for a long time, because usually he's just sitting around laughing, saying, ha, my gimmick is I don't care.
Yeah.
So to see him really care about something is very refreshing, and I got into it in a big way. And I think that's because he respects and loves working with Ray.
He really does.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been working working with him for ages now, since, early 2000s time. And to have him now still want to feud with Ray, I think Lesnar just likes really small guys.
Yes.
He just likes working with Ray and Finn, and even though AJ's not that small, but AJ. People like that, he just loves working with them. He always sells for him as well. It was great.
It's a better story to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we got Then we got a tag match, which was the only really bad thing on the show for me. Charlotte Flair versus Natalya. Charlotte Flair and Natalya, versus the Kabuki Warriors. Non-title match.
Yeah.
They did a whole recap of the women's match that Natalya was in. Natalya and Charlotte do not have any tag chemistry together.
Not even close.
Neither can do a good hot tag.
Nope.
And Charlotte has never had that proper babyface turn, or at least a babyface turn that works.
Yeah.
And Asuka and Kairi Sane are actually really good.
Oh, really? Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, this really did. One thing I did not understand, they did that video package for the Natalya Lacey Evans match in Saudi. They came back from it because it was after Charlotte's entrance, but before Natalya's is when they did the video recap. Came back from the video recap, Charlotte standing in the ring doing like a really slow, sarcastic clap for it. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, you're her tag partner. Be happy for her.
I know, yeah.
It's like she's a heel, but they expect her to just... She's a babyface, though. It's like, but she isn't. She's a heel. I don't know. I was very confused.
There were a few cool spots courtesy of the Kabuki Warriors. Kairi Sane hit this Oh, no, it was Charlotte just lifting up a boot when Kairi was running at her in the corner, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then Asuka just rolled this sharpshooter through into an armbar. I'm like, how did you get to the arm?
Because she's Asuka and she's awesome.
Yeah, but Natty got it locked in again, and Asuka tapped out.
Oh, God. That was the worst part of this match.
Yeah.
Because I was fully expecting Natalya locked in the sharpshooter, got broken up by Kairi Sane, who hit like a code breaker, which looked awesome. Charlotte came in and hit the spear on Kairi. And then as Natalya went to go lock in the sharpshooter, I thought, cool, Asuka's going to hit the green mist, and then she's going to get like a roll-up, and then she'll get the win. Awesome. She didn't. Natalya just locked in a sharpshooter, and then she tapped. That was really, really disappointing, especially because, unless I'm mistaken, I think Asuka's only tapped to Charlotte before at WrestleMania.
Wow.
I think. She might have tapped to Becky once. But...
Well, she beat Becky at Rumble.
She beat Becky at Rumble. So, to have her just tap to Natalya is a bit pants. Because even though she's fallen, way down the card from where she was, she's still somewhat a protected character.
Yeah.
So to have her just, have a really weak tap finish was really disappointing. And apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, I found this out just before we came in here, apparently the original finish of the match was supposed to have Asuka and Kairi Sane win. And for some reason, we don't know why, that got changed.
Well, that would make sense because based off last week, Becky Lynch ran down to save Paige. So I thought they were building to a Lynch-Asuka match, which would be great. But
awesome.
I guess maybe the Survivor Series plans changed.
Yeah.
NXT is now that really good, exciting three-way, actually. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to work out some women's tag match based on all the brands.
Yeah.
After this, Heyman and Brock came out immediately. So Asuka taps, but Heyman and Brock are out there. And they start threatening the commentary table, asking where Mysterio is.
That was cool.
Heyman said that Brock will beat up Jerry Lawler so bad that no one will resuscitate him if he dies again on air.
That's a line, isn't it?
It's a line.
Yeah, that's a line.
I don't mind it.
Oh, no, me neither. It's great.
But bloody hell.
Yeah, that's a line. Oh, man, yeah, I thought that was great. I thought there was a really cool moment here as well, where they're threatening to beat up Jerry Lawler. Dio Madden just walks in, just squares off to Lesnar, be like, no, you can't attack him. He's an old guy. You can't do that. So Lesnar just picks him up and F5s him through the commentary table.
Yeah.
Awesome. It was great.
Madden is a few inches taller than Brock.
I know.
That's cool.
He's a big boy.
I thought this was excellent. I loved Theo Madden standing up. I was already quite a fan of his from the work he's been doing, but a really cool character moment there.
For sure.
And then Ray presumably decides, well, that's enough innocent casualties.
Oh, yeah.
And then why he didn't come out sooner. And he's got, what was it? It wasn't a baseball bat. It was a pipe.
It was a pipe of some description,
So he starts hitting Brock's legs, takes out Lesnar, and Lesnar sold it like $1 million. Again, getting over that idea that Brock really respects Ray. And Ray hit him over the head with the Universal title.
He got a massive run-up.
With the WWE title.
He got a massive run-up with that thing. It was like he picked it up and he was looking to let go of them. I was like, He's way too far away. Brock's going to come back from him. He's going to hit him with like an F5 or something. But no, he just ran really far and then just went clunk.
Yeah.
And Lesnar like rolled down the ramp. I thought, yeah, it was a great sell.
And
Really,
he sold
really
it like
liked
he was knocked out. Like
Yeah.
he was trying to get up, but he would stumble. Other people had to help him out.
Yeah.
And then Ray backstage afterwards challenges Brock to a match at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Which puts the kibosh on the idea of Lesnar versus Fiend versus Cole.
Which is good, because I don't think I want to see that. I don't know how they'd book it to make it a well-protected match for everyone, because I don't think they would.
That's it. Like, I do want to see it, because those names in the same ring sounds just a crazy mismatch of styles.
Mouth-watering stuff.
But yeah, I would have no idea how to make that work.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we got Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander.
See, I was watching this now, because I was like, right, the Lesnar stuff's out the way. We've had the women's tag match was what it was. Didn't like the outcome, but then that led to the Lesnar stuff. Cool. Now we can move on to the NXT stuff. That's fine. NXT Invasion's going to come right now. They've got two guys that they don't particularly care about. This match is probably going to end in DQ with some NXT guys running out. Nope. They did not. It was just a Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander match. And Cedric Alexander took most of the offense, and then Buddy Murphy won.
Yeah, with a cool little finish. He sort of
It was a
kicked,
great finish.
mid-air kick counter on Cedric's springboard, Murphy's Law.
Like, to the back. And then
Yeah.
It was a cool finish.
But yeah, it was, I've seen these guys have that cruiserweight title feud on many pre-shows. And this was several levels below the least impressive of those.
One of the spots that I remember in this match the most was Buddy Murphy doing an armbar. Like, that's the kind of caliber this match was. There wasn't much to it at all. And then Cedric hit a few high spots, and then Buddy did the counter and got the win.
It felt like a filler match that no one
Very
really
much
got
a filler
over
match.
from.
Yeah.
Then we
Which
got
would have been fine if it was leading to something. But it didn't. It just ended, and then that was the end of the segment. So
Then we got the Seth Rollins stuff, which is where the NXT thing kind of came. Then we got, another sort of down.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in the
I was going to
habit
say,
of ups and downs.
don't do ups and downs. That's someone else's thing.
But it was Andrade and Zelina Vega versus Sin Cara and Catalina.
They keep calling her different things, but her nameplate definitely said Carolina.
Yeah. What made me annoyed about this is that WWE just keep booking Andrade and Vega as a mixed tag. Like, it just seems to keep happening. Sin Cara didn't even have a lady door with him. It's like they put a lady door with him so they could do this match.
100%.
That's the great thing about them as an act, is that Vega is this manager who just always interferes. I know I think you and Luke are like, why I want Andrade to win a match clean every now and again. I'm like, no! Vega should help him win every match just because she can, and they're heels.
Yeah.
I personally like that side of him. But I do not like them as just a team that goes out and wrestles together. That's a fundamental misunderstanding of that business manager relationship.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, and like, I don't mind when Vega interferes and stuff, but I don't think her interferences should always directly lead to the victory.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be, she hits a Rana and then Andrade pins or something like that. It should be like she interferes and Andrade gains control, and then like a couple minutes later, Andrade gets the win.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. But yes, I agree with what you're saying.
Anyway, Catalina got a little bit of offense in. She was a bit green, not particularly good. She's got a good look, but there's some charisma there, but the in-ring stuff wasn't that great. And Vega rolled her up for a win, like a cradle, wasn't it?
No, she hit a snap Rana in the ring and just pinned her clean, and that was it.
Which is a bit of a, not a burial, but where do you go from there?
What's the point?
Yeah, what's the point?
I mean, Andrade beat Sin Cara, and now Vega's beaten Carolina, so can this feud end now, please?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was just like nothing.
Yeah, it was, again, very filler, like it was for the Buddy Cedric one.
Speaking of,
Oh, God.
Rusev's storyline's still going. It's not terrible. It's just like, I thought this was past.
Yeah.
So Rusev comes out for an in-ring promo. He says that tonight is the night to end all this stupid drama.
Biggest pop of the night.
Yeah, from a dead crowd. They were chanting Rusev Day.
Yeah.
It just shows like what they've got with Rusev.
Yeah.
And he tells Bobby, look, Lana's all yours now, but your ass is mine.
Hey.
Which just sounds a bit kinky, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
I did like that Lashley then came out on crutches with Lana, saying, I can't face you, unfortunately. I've pulled my groin or torn my groin.
Tore his groin, yeah.
Which is from, all the banging that they've been doing.
And he drew out that reveal for ages. He could have just said, I tore my groin, and everyone would have put 2 and 2 together because, we're not stupid. He was like, but I didn't get it from warming up. I didn't get it from crown jewel. Yeah, I know. I know where the joke's going. Just get there.
I got it from banging your wife. He's a heel. I didn't mind that.
It was fine.
But what I do mind, and I think you mind too.
Oh, God. Yep. So Lana just goes, it's fine. Lashley can't fight, but someone else has volunteered to fight you instead. Out comes Drew McIntyre.
Freaking rent-a-heel Drew McIntyre.
He really is.
Drew McIntyre is incredible. He's so good.
So good.
So
Love
good.
him.
He's got the size, he's got the promo ability, he's got the in-ring ability. He should be a main event heel. Why do they keep looking at him and going, you are someone's second, or you are a stand-in for someone else's feud?
Yeah, I do not understand, because like you said, it's not just the fact that he's a good wrestler or got good mic skills or anything. He has an incredible presence about him. When he comes out, he oozes superstar all over him. And it's like, how do you not see that? It's Drew bloody McIntyre. Like, he's incredible. I don't know. I don't get it. As soon as McIntyre came out, I was like, why is he in this feud now? Oh, it was
Mid-card
so
vortex.
bad. Yeah, mid-card
Bobby.
vortex. Yeah, like 2 peas of a pod, those guys. Oh, yeah, I was really annoyed that when he came out. And then, I don't have any notes about this match. I have about 2 notes about this match. It was a bit boring, honestly.
It was a standard big man match.
Yeah. And it's like, I like Rusev and I really like McIntyre, but like, I just wasn't invested in anything they're doing.
The beef isn't between them.
Exactly. Yeah.
But Bobby revealed it was all a ruse. And
it was all a Rusev.
Nice. He attacked Rusev with the crutch, causing a DQ. And then Rusev stages a bit of a comeback, but Randy Orton RKOs from out of nowhere. He's genuinely still doing those. They are genuinely from out of nowhere.
Oh, they are.
I don't see them coming.
No, not at all. But why are they continuing the whole Team Flair?
I know.
The Crown Jewel's over.
Yeah.
Unless they're continuing to do Team Hogan, Team Flair at Survivor Series again.
I don't know.
What? Why?
And then Ricochet runs down and saves Rusev. So yeah, it's still those.
It's Team Hogan,
those
Team Flair.
teams.
Why?
I was like, guys, you built this match already. It
Yeah,
happened.
it's already
It
done.
felt like a weird hangover.
Yeah, it was very, very strange. And I hate the fact as well that when Lashley came down, he hit Rusev with the crutch, causing the DQ. McIntyre just walked off. He apparently doesn't care that he just lost, that Lashley just cost him the match. Why do wins and losses just not matter?
Yeah.
What's the point in even having the match then? Like, I don't know.
To get one over for your mate, maybe. But yeah, it's just, it feels like a bit of feels out of order, whatever they've done with this storyline.
Yeah.
After this, though, we got, actually, for my money, the best segment on the entire show.
Yeah, it's up there for me. I'd say it was great. I don't know about best thing on the show, but yeah,
what would you
close.
give it to? The Brock stuff? Carrillo?
Absolutely Carrillo, yeah. Yeah, I think it's close between the Brock stuff and this. I'd probably give the edge to this, actually. Yeah.
So Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch is sitting backstage. It looked it was a pre-tape.
Absolutely.
And Charlie Caruso is going to do an interview with her about the Survivor Series match, but she just gets to the introductions, and Shayna Baszler walks in and replaces Charlie Caruso. So you get this. It's really nicely filmed. No one's yelling at each other. It's just a badass promo in Becky Lynch, and Shayna also being a really good promo, just saying mean stuff to each other. Like, I'm going to make you tap out. No, I'm going to beat you up.
Yep.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was really cool. And it put over as well that Shayna's friends with Ronda Rousey, and hey, you beat Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. But then she just goes, I want to make one thing clear. I'm not Ronda Rousey. And it was like, ooh, that made me go like, I'm really excited to see this match now. because this is when they announced that it's going to be Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch versus Bayley at Survivor Series, which should be fantastic.
Yeah.
Thoroughly excited for that match.
Definitely.
And they were saying, oh yeah, I'm going to keep eyes on Bayley, but I am coming for you. It really put over the Becky versus Baszler thing that they're building to. So I feel like Bayley is definitely going to be third wheel in this match, but I don't really mind that because it plays into her heel persona of like not being appreciated and being overlooked and all that stuff anyway, and it means we get Becky versus Baszler, which big thumbs up from me.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And she can almost heelishly remove herself from the match at parts and then run in. Yeah, I can't wait. And yeah, there's some really good lines here. Baszler saying, "It's not just that I'm going to make you tap. It just depends which limb I snap off."
Yeah.
And then, just when you think, that's the line that you end on, Becky comes back with another line. It was really good back and forth. And then they both stand up. They're face to face. And Shayna just grins and says, "Yeah, really nice to meet you."
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, I really liked the cinematic feel of this promo as well. It was very well filmed, much better than they normally do for this kind of thing. It was like little things. When they both stood up, they then had a wide shot that it panned to you, so you could see them both coming into the shot, and then they were facing each other, and they had like nice kind of over-the-shoulder shots of each other and stuff. It was really, really well filmed and really well told. They should do more of it, because it added to the segment, I felt.
Very NXT.
Very NXT, yeah.
Unfortunately... that works so well because it wasn't live in front of this dead crowd. The next segment did die because it wasn't the best material. So
no, it wasn't great.
The OC come out. AJ Styles does his best to fire them up by saying, "I don't care about. Let's get this out of the way. We're the best tag team." Blah 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 blah. And then the OC come out. Sorry, the Street Profits and Humberto Carrillo come out, and the Street Profits are so charismatic, and they were doing really good. And they weren't trying to get the smoke thing going like they were last week. Instead, they had a different line, which was the Street Profits beat the OC 2 weeks ago.
Yep, that's the thing. And did you know the OC are the best tag team in the world now, as of Crown Jewel? But did you know that the Street Profits beat the OC 2 weeks ago on Raw?
So
I'm sorry, wait.
Yeah.
Street Profits beat the OC 2 weeks ago. It's really boring when we do it. It was probably more boring when they did it.
Well,
It was not very exciting.
In front of the right crowd.
Possibly, yes, if they got into it.
Without Carrillo, I think this could have worked. I've seen worse stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Beat up John Cena.
Beat up John Cena.
Like there's really simple stuff. But it's when the whole gimmick was, oh no, you can't say that, but Carrillo can say it. And when Carrillo said it 3 times once in Spanish, it got lamer every time, and the crowd got more quiet every time.
Yeah. There was one bit that genuinely made me laugh out loud, though, was when Carrillo said the same thing in Spanish, and AJ just gets on the mic and just goes, "The hell did he just say?" It was the best delivered line of the whole thing. Just kind of like offhanded comment. He wasn't even on camera. Oh, it was so funny.
AJ's goofy heel bits are the best part of his heel character.
Yeah.
Like
so
Kurt
funny.
Angle goofy heel bits. Oh, that's brilliant. I didn't pick up on that.
Such a good line.
It was the usual 6-man fun. Just a standard fun 6-man match. Montez Ford is just so charismatic.
He's amazing.
Unfortunately, Humberto Carrillo's ship has sailed. And AJ eventually beat him specifically, with a roll-up feed on the ropes. Again, for the 3rd time in a week period. And then the week before that, he lost to Seth Rollins. Losing to Seth Rollins and losing to AJ Styles, that's like, you should be losing. But to beat him over and over again, I don't care if it's dirty. It cuts out any momentum from the guy. Like, why can't he beat, we said it last week, a Carl Anderson, a Luke Gallows? Someone to build him up for the big boss at the end of it. Just like they did with Cedric Alexander. He had a nice bit of momentum going for him, but then AJ just kept on beating him. I don't think that's AJ's fault. I don't think he's John Cena in it backstage saying, no, I should go over here. And they've completely undercut him as a babyface.
Yeah, it's such a shame because I know this is partially just because it was a dead crowd, but I noticed it in previous weeks as well. The crowd just really don't get into Humberto's offense at all, which is really a shame because I find it quite exciting. Like, he's really
good.
athletic and there's some really cool moves that he does, but the crowd just like don't really care. So he just did like a backwards rolling thunder with a moonsault. That's really cool. And there was like not even a slightest pop for it at all.
I think to get over to a crowd that knows nothing about you and you do look very young, you have to be amazing. Like, you not so much in the... I mean, maybe you have to be either Ricochet levels in the ring or you have to have Montez Ford charisma.
Yeah.
And he's not either of those.
Yeah.
So it needs to have a more patient build for him.
Yeah.
And that very admirably tried to just push him right away, win the Seth and AJ matches, but they also haven't pushed him enough.
Yeah.
Because they've made him lose 4 times in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a shame. And then after that, we got the Viking Raiders beating the East Hampton Polo Boys, who were 2 guys dressed in polo shirts.
Oh, sorry. We did also get confirmation that it's going to be Viking Raiders versus Undisputed Era versus Revival at Survivor Series. And I said, in an alternate universe, that would possibly be the best match on the planet.
Yeah.
But
Laurie's so excited for that.
I'm tempering my expectations. I think it could be outstanding. The talent in that ring is ungodly amounts of amazing. But I don't know how good it's going to be.
We'll see. But for this right now, the squash matches, it's quite clear. We've seen it time and time again over the last few months. Isn't working to get the Viking Raiders over.
They are your tag team champions.
But they keep getting put in them. And especially in front of this dead crowd, it didn't work even more. And then afterwards, they cut a promo on the OC, which was pretty hokey. I like their promos backstage with the red and the... But it doesn't work in front of a live audience. It comes across as really outdated.
Yeah.
So this was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't
Not
great.
bad, it was ineffective.
Yes,
Yeah.
ineffective is the right word. It wasn't a bad promo per se. There's definitely been worse ones, but it didn't really build to what they wanted to build, and it didn't make them look how they wanted to make them look. Yeah, ineffective. That's what it was.
So overall, I gave it a low average because I'm really intrigued by the Seth stuff, even if NXT had to play second fiddle to it. Love the Lesnar stuff, and I love that Becky Shayna promo.
Yeah. I also gave it an average. I said that it was nowhere near as good as the SmackDown invasion, partially because of diminishing returns, partially because of poorer booking, partially because it just didn't mean as much on this episode. Cole didn't win, and the people that were feuding early in the night were working together to take on NXT, which just it felt jarring rather than like a big team up to fight the greater evil. I think it'd be better if like Raw and SmackDown continued to lose to NXT, and then eventually you had people like coming together, be like, no, we need to fight NXT for brand loyalty or whatever.
Bragging rights.
Yeah, so if they, they later then agree to put aside their differences and come together to fight NXT, it just felt like it happened a bit too prematurely, I think. So it didn't quite have the same effect. But I still thoroughly enjoyed the Lesnar stuff, the Becky Shayna stuff I'm looking forward to, and some of the matches announced for Survivor Series make me excited. Like, I think all of the matches announced for Survivor Series make me excited, so...
Well, let's see what your super chats say. Kabuki Warrior on the Kabuki Warriors subject. Oblivious Kari says Kabuki Warriors jobbed out to Natty was furious.
Yeah, didn't like that at all. It wasn't very fun.
I can't see any, apart from she won at the first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia reason. There is no reason that Natty should be tapping out Asuka, no less. No. Survivor Series. Pavi let Andy out of his cage. If WWE do a triple threat match at Survivor Series, it'll be The Brock versus The Fiend versus Adam Cole. R.I.P. Adam Cole. Who knew being the elite predicted the future?
Well, it's not, because we already got confirmation that it's going to be Ray versus Lesnar. So it's not all champion versus champion matches. I wonder what they're going to do with The Fiend.
Balor?
Ooh. No.
I mean, Undertaker. It doesn't all have to be brand stuff, I think. Supernatural character versus supernatural character. Keep the Fiend's new momentum going.
Yeah, like it.
Keith Lloyd. Is anyone else afraid that NXT has been looking strong against the main roster just to be jobbers at Survivor Series? Also, Keith Lee is a god.
Bask in his glory. Yeah, he's amazing. And yes, I don't think NXT is going to do particularly great at Survivor Series, but hey-ho.
Ryan F. Becky versus Shayna versus Bayley. Yes, please.
100%. Very, very
Really
excited
is.
for that match.
Sterling Van. It looks like Shayna would fit into the main roster, but I feel like Becky and Shayna are going to cancel each other out to have Bayley win.
Possible. Very possible. Yeah, Bayley could very much steal a victory from out of nowhere. If, like, I don't know, if Shayna has got Becky in, like, the name of her finisher.
Disarmer.
Nope.
Oh, Shayna's one?
Yeah. The thingy. The chokehold thing she does.
Yeah. Baszler lock.
I want to say the Fujiwara armband. That's definitely not the right one. It's the Kirifuda clutch.
Yeah.
The Kirifuda clutch.
My mind was stuck on Kimura.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe she's got her in the Kirifuda clutch, and then like Bayley hits the elbow off the top rope to break it up, and then Becky rolls out the ring. She does a quick like roll up or something. I don't know, something like that would have a
It's
steal
difficult
win.
because someone has to lose.
Yes, yeah.
But that's the problem of these brand title versus title matches.
They made it work perfectly in NXT though, with the Keith Lee, Dijak, Roddy Strong thing, because they had Roddy Strong was the one who was always just getting beaten down and on the outside, and then he came in after Keith Lee hit a massive powerbomb and looked like he was going to win, and then he just hit his kick and got a quick pin. It was great.
Out of those three, it should be Lynch taking the pin.
Yeah.
She won't lose anything, really,
it's true.
and it will actually add some depth and fire to her character. Not that she's been missing that, but she's been at the top for a while and hasn't had many weaknesses.
Yeah.
Power Packers 90. NXT only is here to take the loss because SmackDown can't. Yes,
Possible.
It's
Yep.
worrying.
Yep.
Magnus Bernstrom. If Undisputed Era versus
Viking Raiders
versus The Revival isn't a match of the year candidate for main roster, I'll be disappointed. Undisputed Era should have come out with
Adam Cole
to show all the NXT gold to the mainstream.
That would have been great. Yeah, I mean, they came out earlier in the night with the four of them going on the apron, but then as soon as the OC came out, they kind of just backed off, so you didn't really have a great showing of them as a group.
I remember I think it was last year, where I was really excited for the tag match because it was like New Day, Usos.
That was at Mania, wasn't it? It was. I don't know which one you're talking about. Actually, I might have just completely stole your thunder.
There's just loads of tag matches that I've been very, very excited for. Being like, well, this will be the low-key show stealer, and then totally obviously WWE have given them 7 minutes.
Yeah, the one I'm thinking of was, I think it was at Mania 34
Maybe,
or 33 when they had, not 33, 34, when they had Bludgeon Brothers, New Day Usos in a ladder match, and you were like, awesome, and then it was 5 minutes tops.
Justin Anzaludua. So are we getting Roddy Strong versus AJ versus Shinsuke at Survivor Series? Oh, yes, please.
That would be incredible.
I didn't even think about that.
Also,
one.
I saw something on Squared Circle Reddit earlier that if they have that match and Shinsuke wins, he will literally be the king of strong styles.
Yes!
It's so good.
Jake C. He will be the turncoat at Survivor Series this year. Gonna say Seth.
Yeah. It's the only realistic one at this point, I'd say.
Zach, Icon, Linda, and I think there'll be a very well-told story if they do.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Zach, Icon, Lindler, this company. How do they bury those dimples?
It's just so likable. It's got dimples. We got some about The Fiend. Sparks said, so what's next for The Fiend? I personally think he'll pop up on NXT and attack Triple H. Regardless, the NXT warfare is surely to boost this week's ratings.
Yeah, I reckon it could beat Dynamite for the first time. I think keep The Fiend away from all this brand stuff.
Me too.
It's beneath him.
Very much so.
Have him go against The Undertaker.
Yeah, that'd be great. Mundy said, what if people... The Fiend beats... What if The Fiend goes to NXT and turns heel?
Yeah,
he's already a heel.
That's it.
And why is it Ray versus Brock for the title at Survivor Series instead of Fiend versus Brock?
I think because they're making up their rules as they go.
Absolutely.
It's not all. It's brands versus brands, not necessarily champions versus champions.
Correct.
Although now Brock is on Raw.
It is.
It's Raw versus Raw.
Raw versus Raw.
Why didn't he just stay on SmackDown?
Would have made sense, wouldn't it? Well. They've got brand versus brand unless they're too important for it.
Yeah.
Such as Lesnar and Fiend. Yeah. Van Thomas said, on the Hell in a Cell review, I theorized a title swap. Excited to be right, so far anyway.
Well done, Van.
Yeah, very well done. We got one about Saudi Arabia. Joe Ray said, "Hi guys, with all the things going on in the company, who do you think that this was the last straw for, and where do you think they'll go?" So there's big backstage turmoil supposedly regarding the whole Saudi Arabia situation. I think there's more in the news today, isn't there?
Go and watch Laurie's news that went up just before we started. Yeah, regardless of what happened, the wrestlers who were left over there and the statement that WWE put out, you've got to feel completely abandoned.
Yeah,
not just
100%.
from a location standpoint, but from an emotional standpoint. To read that idea that some superstars felt so strongly they chartered their own flight to get to SmackDown, I'd just be like, what the hell?
Screw you guys.
What do you see us as?
Yeah.
So, of the people who were very public on Twitter about it, Carl Anderson seems to be the most, but he just signed for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's difficult to know. Apparently, Rusev went to say something in this meeting that happened before Raw. So maybe Rusev, his contract is reportedly up soon anyway.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Shall I take over?
Yeah, go for it.
Andrade versus Sin Cara from Sterling Van again. Andrade faced Sin Cara again. He's like 5-0 against him. Please put him against someone else. And no, don't just randomly throw him at Alistair again, Alistair Black.
100% agree, yeah. Please give him an actual meaningful feud that's not Sin Cara, because that feud is done now.
Or another Mexican person.
Yeah. Stop putting him against luchadors all the time.
Brock versus Ray. Jobber JJ 496. Guess you can say Brock got chopped with a pipe.
A pipe saber.
Pipe saber.
Like a lightsaber, but
you
not.
got chopped.
You got chopped. With the... Should watch the highlights video if you don't understand that reference that went up on Sunday. It's very funny.
Great editing by Vinny Shui. He invented that.
It's great.
Christian Baltimore loved when Mysterio was attacking Brock. You hear Jerry say, "Hit Heyman."
That's quite good. I missed that. That's great.
Vinny Ramachandran. So with Brock fighting Ray, who will the Fiend face at Survivor Series?
Hopefully, like you said, Taker. That would be a
Undertaker.
good filler feud.
Michael Dominguez wanted Volta to step up to Brock, not Ray.
Oh, I want that now. That would be incredible.
Yeah. The story right now, look, that's a great idea, but now isn't the time to go every dream match ever.
Yeah.
Like Ray versus Brock is actually a good story. It has been told over the last month. So
yeah. Imagine Brock Lesnar fighting for the NXT UK Championship.
Well, nothing else but butts in seats for them.
We got some about Seth Rollins now. Kevin said, also, did Seth start his promo with the old Wrestle Ramble title template? Copyright infringement.
I wrote that in my notes. I had a joke in it about my review, but I took it out for time constraints.
What's next for Seth Rollins?
What's next for Seth Rollins? We should have made that ad title.
We should have. Forged by Gaming said, I keep imagining Carlito spitting on Seth. Okay.
Because he's not cool.
He's not cool. Anonymous said, Seth still being as unlikable as he can, calling himself better than Daniel Bryan when it's unnecessary and false in my opinion, and his incredibly stupid, short-sighted tweet about Dave Meltzer.
The Daniel Bryan stuff is fine because that's within a kayfabe universe. The tweet about Dave Meltzer, go and watch Laurie's news that went up before this to find out more, is just, he is so obviously, to me, a company shill that he's got to turn heel. Like, if this is who you are as a person outside of the kayfabe wrestling world, that is seeping through into your wrestling character. So just turn heel, and then you can at least claim that all of this is to work us. Yeah. Because it is idiotic. It is really there's a bullying element to it as well. I think if it's not just Dave Meltzer who's reporting this either. It's oh god, I can't remember their name now. Not Pro Wrestling Sheet. PW Torch. It's the former the AAA commentator. It's so many Wrestle Votes. It's so many places. It's that insider on Reddit that to single out Meltzer is just, I think, symptomatic of a vendetta from WWE against him.
Yeah. Cool. You want to
Not
take over
cool.
these ones?
Not cool.
Seth Rollins is not cool.
Carlo
sorry, I
Mauricio,
forgot there was one more.
finally. Rollins is going to pull a Hogan and be the fifth man.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Totally.
The bad crowd. This is on the people in the actual arena. Kevin, this crowd was so bad, I'm not even sure Zack Ryder got his hometown pop.
I don't think he
That's
did.
a good point. I didn't
was
even
there.
think of that.
Yeah.
Zack Icon Lindner, crowd was half full and the crowd was killed last time they went there. That was a long-term ramification of the 2 out of 3 full period Long Island represent. It's historically a bad wrestling crowd.
Yeah.
That's been the case for forever.
Probably didn't
not just
help
this year.
with the whole half-full arena and all that. But yeah.
Robert Banker, New York City is primarily Gargano fans don't like Adam Cole.
I don't think those two are mutually exclusive.
Yeah, it's weird how Gargano hasn't featured.
Yeah.
On this.
I mean, I like it because it goes into NXT's continuity because he got beaten the hell out of by Finn Balor.
Yeah.
So that's nice, but still.
Jared Thomas, the crowd was like, this isn't AEW. And Dematic, that ghost. I think if the crowd was more into the matches, the show would have been much better. Totally agree. This could have been a high average if the crowd was with them.
Yeah.
But they weren't, and for once, that wasn't WWE's fault, in my opinion.
We got one about the Rusev Lashley storyline. Priyant Sharma said, Drew wants none of this stupidity. Yeah, he just walked away as soon as the match was done, like, please get me out of here.
I bet Rusev wishes he could do that to his contract.
I know, tell me about it. Then we got a few about the Street Profits and the OC. Deep Singh said if they're going to do a 3-on-3 with the Street Profits, they have to use a better third with the Profits, someone who can legitimately beat AJ.
Yeah, I like the idea of putting Carrillo with them because they felt like this fresh, babyface, cool, raw act.
Yeah.
But then they've beaten Umberto too much.
Yeah.
So unfortunately that isn't working.
Yeah. The Adnap 2 said, remember when Kevin Owens was feuding with the OC?
Where's Owens? He came down as he was meant to be the Street Profits.
Yeah, he
third
was. Man. What happened to that?
I completely forgot about that with all the Crown Jewel stuff.
He didn't go to Saudi Arabia, right?
No, he refuses to go.
So he could have been on SmackDown to play into the NXT storyline with Kevin Owens. You know, former NXT champion Kevin Owens.
Maybe he'll be a turn.
Yeah,
oh my God,
maybe.
he only just turned face though.
Oh God.
It's a good idea, but he's flip-flopped too much.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I don't know. Jose Quinde said, didn't Lana leave because there was too much sex? Yeah, I think that's the point of her character. She's supposed to be hypocritical. Yeah. Michael Dominguez said, Undisputed Era versus OC, then Finn oust AJ as the leader. Thoughts?
I think historically that's a fun reference, but I don't think it would work.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes. I also wouldn't want it because it would go against his current NXT character, which is baller. I love it.
I want Balor to have his own club with AOP. Ever since he said that in an interview,
amazing.
I'm like, that's now what I want.
Yeah.
Miscellaneous chats. Vernon Jeffries, good morning, WrestleTalk. Send me a birthday shout out. It will really make my day. Thanks. Happy New Year, Vernon.
Happy Hanukkah.
The Brock. I've been absent lately as I've ruptured my ATFL and have been out of it the last week. Thanks for keeping me company during my recovery. Well, hope it's going well. I don't know what an ATFL is. Sounds like a football league.
Yeah, I don't know.
Justin Anzaludua. Here for a little bit of the Boboli.
Hey!
Oh, why didn't I think about that when that was more of a meme?
That's a t-shirt.
Craig Pinn, waiting for a phone call to tell me my new gaming computer is ready to pick up. Oh, yes. In the meantime, have some money. Much love from Canada.
Awesome.
Hey, thank you. Those waits are just, when you book the whole day off, where I've got to pick up this thing. Yeah. I really want it. I want it now.
Yeah.
And you're like, please happen at 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm. I can remember I was getting, this is not even close to being the same thing, but I was getting delivered a Pokemon game, which I had ordered online. It was a new Pokemon game that came out, and I was sitting in the living room just watching the window, waiting for it to come. It was the worst wait of my life.
And now you can track the parcel. He's 40 deliveries away.
Yeah.
He's 10 deliveries away. Like, what have you done? You stopped for lunch?
Yeah.
Canal improbabile. Ollie, please give your rah-rah speech to Pete. Now, come on here, Pete. You've got to stop posting on social media about the clickbait stuff. It's and just keep that to yourself. Was it a good rah-rah speech?
That was
it inspiring?
Not great.
And some Reinhardt. Can't watch much as I'm in school, but wanted to support you guys and was curious what you think the Fiend's custom title will look like.
I think it would be super duper cool if one side said hurt and the other side said heal.
Yeah, the nameplate's really good idea.
Yeah.
House of Fewer. Did you catch MLW's pay-per-view on Saturday? No, I didn't. But I heard that it was pretty okay. There's so much wrestling out there at the moment.
Busy watching SmackDown and working.
Fritz XXI TFK 777. You guys burned out a little bit from WWE? Just asking.
I would say yes, but then SmackDown happened and I was like,
Totally.
maybe I'm not, because I love that show.
Venom Kitsetsu. Ollie, Val said in a wrestle situation he'd manage Laurie.
She'd manage
Laurie.
Yeah.
And that she'd want you to manage her.
Yeah.
You on board with that? And what brand would you all be on? So I'd manage Val.
Yeah.
And Val would manage Laurie. That's quite a fun act.
Yeah.
There's been no managers of managers.
No, not
It's
yet.
quite good.
Yeah.
We'd be on AEW.
Obviously. Totally.
Daniel Brothert, but would probably only come out for the pre-shows as a comedy act.
AEW Dark.
Daniel Brotherton. John Cena, with a blue tick, followed me on Twitter last week. Has anyone famous surprised you by following you on Twitter?
John Cena follows everyone, in fairness. He follows like
say that to
20,000
Daniel.
people. But yeah, has anyone famous surprised you by following you on Twitter?
I follow you on Twitter.
No, you don't.
Do I not?
Probably not. I don't think you do.
I'm not very good at Twitter.
No, you're not.
I've been blocked by
You're
people
the
on Twitter.
opposite. You're the opposite of David Starr.
Randy Orton. I've been blocked by Randy Orton. That's my claim to fame.
I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
John Kurosawa. I'm broke but love you guys. Watching in Wisconsin. Well, thank you very much for your super chat. Anarchus. I agree with you that the Buddy Cedric match was filler because when I saw them in the ring, my hopes were lifted for a great match because of their previous matches together.
Yeah. It was literally like, we don't have enough time filled out, so have a match. And then we got some other super chats that came in before we started reading these ones. Oh, sorry, while we were reading these ones. Anthony Williams said, "Who do you think should take the title off Becky?" Shayna Baszler.
It's tough, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
they don't really they haven't built up the rest of the women's division because they built it entirely around Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda.
Yep.
And one of those people left.
And one of them's a terrible babyface.
I'd give it to Sasha.
Yeah,
I
same.
don't know what her injury status is right now.
Yeah, I don't know either. Nate Drop Surname said, I'd like to see Fiend win with no scheduled match. They'd have a traditional Survivor Series match for brands, and at the end, Fiend shows up and lays out all the survivors.
I'm not too keen on that, actually.
I think it's fine if it builds to a story purpose. If he just comes out to attack them for the sake of it, I don't think it would work necessarily.
Yeah, if he beats up the SmackDown survivors to set up the next SmackDown feud, that could work.
That would be fine.
Which would probably be Roman Reigns, I guess.
Yeah. Mundy said, sorry, meant to say, what if everyone that gets defeated by the Fiend ends up going to NXT and turning heel? For instance, Finn Balor and maybe now Seth. That would be something. That'd be an interesting parallel.
It would be, yeah. I don't think that would work as a story thing. It would just be an interesting detail.
I think so, yeah. I think it'd be an interesting Easter egg, but it shouldn't be a story point. Anthony Williams said, who should beat the Fiend? Will it be Reigns? Probably. Yeah. Carlo Morisot said, AEW taking shots on the Go Home show Wednesday.
They keep saying how they're not going to do that, and then Cody will do a whole segment based on it. Yeah. So I can see that happening.
Yeah, same. Christopher Cade said, door opening, life-changing. True progression is a women's wrestling match. Ignore that whole women can't report domestic abuse without a male guardian's consent, etc., etc.
Yes, on the Saudi Arabian sort of social situation, while the women's wrestling match was a step, it's a long way to go.
It was a worldwide phenomenon, and now women are free.
Yeah, they freed the women, folks.
Yep, they did it.
They fixed it down there.
Yep.
So we're about to do the Patreon shout-outs. Go over to Screenstalker's Twitch page. spam the link in the live chat because Laurie and Simon will be back here very shortly on Twitch, on Screenstalker's Twitch, playing through WWE 2K20. We're going to be doing your matches, maybe some NXT versus Raw and SmackDown matches. Maybe we'll do a few Dream card ones. Getting your suggestions for that over on Twitch. And also, if you've got an Amazon Prime subscription, you can just gift us a subscribe on Twitch for totally free. It helps support us over there. It's really worthwhile. Thank you very much for everyone who does that. But let's do our Patreon shout-outs before we get out of here for all our $25 a month or more pledge hammers. So thank you. No one names their kid this anymore. Larry!
Hey!
Yeah, cheers, Larry.
Luke's favourite fan, the one, the only, the awesome Bubba!
Cheers, Bubba. Thank you. Kratos' forgotten son, Chris Petrell.
Oh, yes.
I think he got the video shout-out today in Laurie's news.
Oh, cool. Nice. The Beast, Brock Taylor!
Whoa! Cheers, Brock. Adam and the Anthony Bergeron.
Woo!
Prince
Yes.
Charming. Prince Charming.
He's no jackass, Dano.
Dano. X, Red, White, and Black X of the trio of lunatics. Subscribe now.
Yeah.
So go over
Great
there.
name.
Thank you.
Rob Steiner Recliner.
What a move.
Great move.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Infinite Crisis. Chris Jenkins.
Woo,
Thank
yes.
you.
Very
Who made
good.
these hammers?
Oh, that's awesome. The Wonderwall, Brian Gallagher.
In the sunshine. Today's Tom Sawyer, Mean Pride.
Woo,
It's a
yes.
song that Luke knows.
Cool, no one else does. And finally, Bad Connection, Thomas Lagdon.
Thank you very much for all your support on Patreon. Now go over to Screenstalker's Twitch page because Laurie and Simon will be playing some WWE 2K20 and playing through the Survivor Series card, some other fun bits, maybe a bit of My Career mode as well. We'll see what happens. But for now, please click the videos that have just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest awesome WrestleTalk things, and this button right here, which will make you a pledge hammer on Patreon. Go and watch my Raw review and Laurie's news from earlier. And I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Chopper Pete, and that was wrestling.